The number one thing every year that manufacturers tell us that they're most interested in learning more about and being more effective at is sales.
Welcome to IndustrialSage, a free video podcast series all about digital marketing for industrial manufacturers. Hear interviews with your peers and find out how they're solving the same challenges that you might be facing in your own field. Coming to you from the Optimum Production Studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is IndustrialSage.
So for today's episode, we've got Jason Moss from the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance, and he is going to share his story and his vision on the association that he has built on helping to solve challenges and to be able to support the manufacturers here in the state of Georgia. Did you know there's 10,000, over 10,000 in Georgia? And we're going to learn about one of the solutions he brought in using e-commerce and website to really to be able to help answer challenges, to be able to build that awareness and help drive sales. We're going to touch on the large event, the Georgia Manufacturing Summit that's coming on. And you don't want to miss this episode. I'm Danny Gonzalez, and this is IndustrialSage. I'm Danny Gonzalez here. Let's jump into today's episode. I've got Jason Moss from the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance. Jason, thanks so much for joining us. And if you could just tell us about yourself and about the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance to those who are not familiar.
All right, that sounds great. Danny, thanks for having me today. I'm excited to be plugging into IndustrialSage and being able to learn a little bit more about it on this side so that hopefully some of our manufacturers that we work with will be able to understand how they might be able to use some of the resources that you guys have got available.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Yeah. So a little bit about my background, sort of why I started the organization and what we do. Back in 2008, I had been in software sales for years and took a little break from that. When I got back into software sales, I was looking for a networking organization for manufacturers. I had fell in love with business-to-business networking, Chamber of Commerce, PowerCore, BNI. Those are fun,
all those things,
and because business-to-business networking is a lot more fun than cold calls.
Yeah, a little
bit.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I got back into software sales, I was looking around for a group, and there were plenty of organizations out there that were industry-specific, like APICS, which is for Operations and Logistics, and the Society of Manufacturing Engineers, organizations like that. But there was nothing that was overarching that really supported all of manufacturing. So 2 weeks after I came up with the idea, we kicked off our first meeting in February of 2008, and we had 16 people show up.
Wow, that's awesome.
And the feedback was phenomenal. People just really loved what they were doing. Being able to have the opportunity to connect with each other. It was a little tricky actually to get started because I opened it up and I had about half the room was full of companies that were
vendors or
they were job shops.
Oh, okay,
gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, all right,
and the thing is all the folks in the room knew who each other were.
Okay.
The challenge was they weren't really comfortable being in the room with their competition.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The tension was so thick in there that I decided that I would cut it with a knife, and I did. And I served it up to everybody, and I said, "Listen, guys, if we will work together, who in the room has exactly the same equipment?" Nobody had exactly. I said, even if you did have the same equipment, who in here's got exactly the same knowledge and the contacts in the industry? Nobody. Yeah. I said, but if we'll work together, this was 2008. Think about the economy, what was going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
I said, if we'll work together, we will be able to build an organization that will allow each of you guys to maybe even take on bigger projects than you'd want to take on by yourself, and we can grow this thing as a community.
Right.
Fortunately, those guys listened, and even more fortunately, I was right. And so what we did was we found that there was a community of people that really wanted to work together and benefited from being able to connect with each other. Yeah. So I was standing at a loading dock one day, and I was watching a company box a product up to ship it to California to have a process done to it, and I had just left. It's really crazy. I had just left a building in the same complex. I could see the loading dock that did that service, and I said, "Did you know that these guys over here can do that, and you don't have to ship it to California and wait 3 weeks?"
What?
And what happened was we just don't know who our neighbors are.
Yeah.
At one time.
It's very true.
Yeah. One time in the industry and manufacturing, all the business was either led on the golf course or to bar on Friday night. Right. Yeah. That's how business, because we had kind of a community. I mean, there's good and bad to that. I mean, I get it. But when the internet showed up, everybody said, "Hey, man, we can get that done in Bangladesh for a nickel cheaper." Right? Yeah. And they said the world's flat.
Right.
And you don't really need those communities and relationships. And we shipped a lot of stuff out, out of state, overseas, and we lost that sense of community.
Yeah.
And that's what GMA, I mean, if you boil it all down, to, what we do is we're here to support and grow Georgia's manufacturing community, and we do that through plant tours and networking events and educational sessions.
Yeah.
Last year, our organization, we had a little over 3,000 people attend events that I hosted. I say our team, GMA. So we had a little over 3,000 people attend events that we hosted, and we hosted 115 events around the state.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty
That's
cool.
a lot.
Yeah, so pretty busy schedule.
Yeah, a little bit.
We've had the opportunity to tour some pretty interesting manufacturing facilities. I mean, from we went down to Bluebird Bus, and they make the big yellow buses. A lot of folks don't know that over in Fort Valley, Georgia, and they produce 70 buses a day. Now,
wow.
What they do with 70 buses a day, I don't know.
But they're producing
But they're producing them, and a lot of them are going overseas, which is great. I mean, we got a great international market with that. And then we had the opportunity to go to Kia. Now, they have the capability, and they produce a car every 57 seconds.
Wow.
A brand new
That's
car
crazy.
every 50
That's
seconds.
down in LaGrange.
Down in
Oakland.
LaGrange, yeah, West Point. And man, it is amazing to see, because they'll produce, and those cars are not the same. They're not making red Optimas all day. They'll have an Optima that's red, that's fully loaded, right behind a Sorrento that's a stripped down, a base model, and then back and forth. So to be able to see that built just in time, a car every 57 seconds, that's a pretty impressive deal.
That's super impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
We did have an opportunity. One other places we toured a while back was Gulfstream.
I would love.
Now that was pretty neat. They don't
Just a
have
little bit.
quite the speed on the production line as either of those other
I
two
don't
guys.
think they're cranking out 57 planes.
No, they every 3 days they roll off a new. Now we toured the 650 plant, and it was impressive. I mean, it was just
heard amazing things
top
about
of the
that.
line. And but they pull off a G650 every 3 days. It's $65 million.
Wow.
And that's without paint and without interior.
Wow.
Yeah.
65. So that's the
Right.
not even the
Every
baseline.
3 days, every 3 days. So it's compared to every 57 seconds or 70 a day. So being able to see that variety of manufacturers. But we've toured T-shirt factories, and we've toured King's Hawaiian Rolls. We recently toured Duracell batteries. So we've been able to see some pretty amazing. And the goal, why we do all of that, is our goal is to help industry professionals, manufacturing industry professionals, in any division. So it could be HR, it could be the operations, it could be the plant manager, it could be anybody in the facility. We help manufacturing industry professionals go see world-class manufacturing in process, so that maybe they can take an idea or a concept and retool that and repurpose it at their facility.
Absolutely.
And be more productive.
Yeah. Right.
And we see and hear that every day. I mean, people call us all the time saying, we got an idea when we were touring the Kia plant, and we were able to implement that idea in our facility and help us be more productive, right?
Really
So that's
leveraging
what
that
we
community.
do.
That's awesome.
And it allows these industry professionals to connect and build a personal relationship with each other, build a peer group.
Yeah.
Because most manufacturers, I mean, one of the hardest things on the planet to do that I have found is to get a manufacturer out of their plant, right? Because they get paid to make stuff.
Yeah,
And if they're not there, it takes a little work to make that happen. But when they do, when they venture out and they take that step, they tend to be great believers, and they dig in because they know that they're going to learn something new.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking
That's
talking to Marty Daniels. We just toured Daniel Defense down in Savannah, and you can't just roll up and take a tour of Daniel Defense or Kia. Just so you know, you can try it if you like, but let me know how that works out.
Yeah, exactly.
But Marty Daniels is the founder and CEO of Daniel Defense, and that's one of the things that he was so intrigued by our organization. He wanted to see how it worked, and he gave me a list of 3 or 4 companies that he said, I'd really like to see how these guys operate. Well, guess what I'm going to go do? I'm going to make sure that we set those opportunities up for him to go see that.
Yeah.
But we brought in 40 people from all across the state to come in and tour Daniel Defense, and they did the same thing, and they were very open in what they shared.
Yeah.
This past couple weeks ago, we toured Club Car, and talking about a lean operation. Wow. I mean, those guys.
Now, Club Car, they manufacture the golf carts.
Golf carts,
right?
over in Columbus.
Right.
Yep. And so that's, again, that's the core. The reason that we do what we do is to help support and grow Georgia's manufacturing community. And we love to do it. I mean, we have a lot of fun doing it, and it's a pretty laid back group, you know.
That's awesome.
And it's kind of like family. I mean, we work real hard to keep that environment so that people are comfortable in whatever they do. And we don't serve just the HR department or just the sales department or just the operations. We try to provide opportunities for all of those departments and divisions to be able to gain value from what we do.
And I will say, you know, so we are, to the audience out there, you know, we're members of the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance, and I realize that, you know, our audience base, you know, a lot of people are in Georgia, but a lot of them are outside of. But for those who are in Georgia and even, you know, the outside, awesome organization. We've gone on several tours, and it's been just a really awesome experience, even just from the sales and marketing perspective, even just to look and just see all the different things and the nuances, and just to get an understanding of, you know, what is going on in your backyard. It's really awesome.
Right.
So it's just a really great organization you've put together, and just love those tours. So we're going to keep going to those.
Nice.
You know, so we can keep learning more about it. So, but one of the things we were talking about, you know, a little bit before we started was, you know, you do these surveys because, you know, part of the goal is, you know, building the community and helping to really support that manufacturer. And you were telling me, you know, one of the recent surveys that you did that you wanted to find out what the top challenges were for manufacturers. Can you just tell the audience? I think they might be interested to hear this.
Yeah, so we surveyed the manufacturers across the board, and we opened it up. We actually surveyed all of our members, and we have service companies like insurance companies and banks and staffing companies and that kind of thing. But we parsed the results down just to the manufacturers and said, what are you most interested in? Because we want to build an educational platform, and we want to make sure that we serve our members.
Right, yeah.
And we're working really hard to listen to our members. I mean, I heard somebody say it's a good idea. So we're going to listen to our members, and the top three things. Now, we've surveyed these folks over the years, and consistently what we've heard, the top three things that these guys are looking for is operational excellence, you know, to being able to be more efficient at what they do.
Yeah.
Leadership development, which was kind of unique. I was not expecting that. But year over year, that's one of the, again, top three. The number one thing every year that manufacturers tell us that they're most interested in learning more about and being more effective at is sales, which was pretty interesting. I mean, I thought maybe, you know, workforce development, labor force, materials, I mean, of course, tariffs, a variety of different topics. But the number one thing year over year that manufacturers want to do is they want to be more effective in selling. So they want to make it better. They want to develop their team and their leadership, and then they want to be able to sell more stuff, right? And I was like, how can we do that? So we've done some trainings on sales, and brought in some industry experts to talk about social media. I had a guy that regularly comes in, Greg Burkhalter, and he's the LinkedIn guy. So he comes in and talks about how manufacturers should properly use LinkedIn to be more effective in what they do.
Absolutely.
And we've got some great results out of that. So Greg does a great job on training that, and he tailors it to the manufacturing community. Now, we don't have any, you know, in our organization, we really focus on making sure that the people that are involved understand manufacturing.
Yeah, sure.
And so we don't have any, you know, Mary Kay folks or residential realtors. Now, I love Mary Kay people. I probably need some, you know. And we don't have any residential realtors. Not that we don't like them. It's just, you know, our goal is to make sure that we serve the manufacturing community, and that the people that we have attracted to that understand those needs, because there's special needs that manufacturers have.
Yeah.
So again, based on the survey, we've done some trainings on that. But that's one of the things I'm really intrigued to figure out, how we can help IndustrialSage get introduced to our guys, even more engaged, because if we can help them be more effective in sales, again, it's the rising tide lifts all ships.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what we're all about here.
Yeah.
I mean, just helping, you know, on that sales and marketing, the tagline, on the helping manufacturing industrial marketers drive revenue. That's, at the end of the day, that's what it's at. So one of the really cool things that you've got going on, I'll take your pamphlet here. Yeah. This is the, you know, buyfromgeorgia.com. This is one of the answers we were talking about. You said that you guys are providing to the industry to help in that sales aspect. It's a very interesting story here. Yeah. You know, since our audience, you know, they weren't listening to us before we were talking. Yeah. Why did you start? What is it? Okay. And why did you start it?
Okay, perfect. For the past 10 years, we've been serving the manufacturing community, and we want manufacturers to be more successful. And they tell us they just want to sell more things, and we tried a variety of different things to help educate them on sales, to be more effective in marketing and understand social media, those type things.
Yeah.
But But we have in the state of Georgia over 10,000 manufacturing facilities all across the state. When after 2008, we rocked along, we grew the organization, we kind of plateaued the group. About 2011, I got out of software sales.
So you'd started you were still in software sales.
Yeah, I started when I was in
gotcha.
software
All right,
sales.
yeah.
And then about 2011, I had gotten out of software sales, because everybody knows what the market looks like, right? Y'all remember. If you don't, I'll tell you about it. But what happened was, when I got out of software sales, I went to my group and said, I don't have a horse in the race. This is not financially beneficial. And not that I was doing the organization for financial benefit, but, again, not having a resource that I could help our members with.
Sure,
I went to a lot of my leaders and said, hey guys, do we want to keep this going? Is this beneficial to you? And several of them came to me and said, we would be out of business had it not been for the work that we got through GMA.
Wow.
Now, yeah, I was, I knew we were having some kind of impact, but I had no idea we were having an impact at that level.
Wow.
And I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. If that's the case, what we're going to do is we're going to, because like I said, we kind of plateaued. We got the same amount of people coming regularly.
Sure,
it's the same folks, not a
So
lot
you're
of
kinda
excitement.
like, yeah.
Either we're going to close it or we're going to blow it up.
Right, yeah.
Let's
yeah.
pick,
Yeah.
right? So I challenged these guys. I said, so what I want you to do is I want you to help me. You guys are all industry professionals. I want you to help me identify a good target market, people that we can reach out to. And I said, I'm going to take whoever that can come up with the most over 10 companies and products that manufacture in the state of Georgia. I'm going to take you anywhere you want to in Atlanta for dinner. And this is an individual contest. Go. I gave everybody a pen and a piece of paper. I said, don't share with your neighbors. Let's see what you can come up with. And it was very disturbing. After about 3 or 4 minutes, I looked around in the room, and everybody had laid their pens down. How many of you think the most anybody came up with? What were you getting? Now, these are salespeople that sell to manufacturers. A lot of them are manufacturers, right?
Yeah. You would. My number is 5.
5. Almost. We had 6. The most any one person in the room came up with was 6.
Wow.
I was floored, because I was like, I'm looking to you guys to help give us input.
Yeah.
Right? And
they
didn't. And so what we did, now a stroke of genius or luck, we got out a whiteboard and a pen, and we started marking down and had everybody read off who they were working with. And we ended up with 50 great prospects.
oh.
Everybody knew different companies.
Right, yeah.
Which made sense.
Yeah.
So that gave me, that day, changed the business.
Yeah,
When I
totally
saw
makes sense.
that these people didn't know, I said, well, how about general consumers?
Yeah.
Went Chamber of Commerce. I love Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member of several all around the state. If you're not a member of the chamber, I'd encourage everybody to join your local chamber, because they will be able to do things that we're not going to.
Sure,
But I went to
absolutely.
the chamber, 150 people. Gwinnett, I love Gwinnett.
They've got a huge chamber.
Yeah, they've got one of the most active in the country,
Yeah.
very successful, great folks. And I went to one of the networking sessions. They had 150 people in a networking thing that morning. I went in front of the room, took a $100 bill, popped it, and I said, hey, I'd like to offer this to the first person that can name. Everybody get your pen out. You got to write it down and bring me the list. Anybody that can name more than 5 products you know are manufactured in the state of Georgia by brand name that you can pick up at Walmart or Home Depot. Go. And the rooms go deathly silent. And again, the concept of the chamber and business-to-business networking, that's what we're supposed to do, is support each other.
Sure,
But
right.
we don't know who
Right. Yeah.
makes stuff. And if we don't know who makes things in Georgia, how can we be good consumers?
Right. Yeah.
And I've done that to chambers all across the state. And anytime there's a room full of folks gathered together, I'll do that. The Rotaries and chambers.
And these are the folks that are networked. Like they're networking. They know.
Right.
Right.
But nobody's
They would-
out. Yeah, nobody's out telling the story about what's being made here.
Right, yeah.
We just assume that everything is made. It just magically appears on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've lost the connection that things have to be made and people have to make those.
Yeah.
And that supply chain that we've talked about several times, that's a big piece. So in 10 years of doing this, I've been doing the challenge for probably 6. I've given away 2 $100 bills.
Wow.
The whole time I've done this. Now I am qualifying these days a little bit more, because that message has gotten out a little
Yes,
bit.
yeah.
That if you've heard that
Then you
challenge
gotta
before, then you don't qualify for the thing, because you might know the insider secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, it's amazing to see how few products people know are made in the state of Georgia, or in their state. And again, I believe that this should be step one of 50. Our organization, we're trying some really unique things, and some stuff's working great, and some stuff hasn't worked so well. You know,
Right.
we like failing fast, but we like trying a lot of different things. But people tell me that they would love to buy local if they could. As I'm dealing with manufacturers, they often tell me, "Hey, we want to buy local." Because that just supports us. So we developed the Georgia Manufacturing Directory, which is a membership directory of all of our members that allows our members to connect with each other. So that's business to business in the manufacturing space. I saw that there was a huge opportunity for general consumers that told me all the time, "Give me a list and I'll buy stuff local." Well, the reality is I give them a list, they get busy, they forget about it, they don't take it to the store with them, they stick it in the sock drawer, wherever that, they don't actively engage in buying local. I don't know how effective we have been in carrying the message.
Yeah.
So as a simple example, let's just say that on your way home today, you needed to buy some batteries for the remote control. And you walked into Home Depot or Walmart and you saw two displays. One said Energizer and the other said Duracell. Those are similar products at a similar price, similar quality. We've all bought both.
Right.
What would compel you to buy one over the other? What if you knew that the Duracell batteries, all the AAA and AA batteries made in North America, are made in LaGrange, Georgia, and support 400 Georgia families? Which ones would you buy? Everything else being equal.
No brainer.
No brainer.
Hey, well, there's an extra value there for me.
Yeah, because we're supporting our local businesses, supporting those 400 families. Now, if we took that concept, and everybody says, yeah, I'll buy Duracell. If we took that concept and increased the sales of Duracell batteries by 10% through internal consumption, just because we know something now that we didn't know before, 10% on 400 jobs would be what? 40 new jobs in LaGrange, Georgia.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be, imagine what that would do for LaGrange, to add 40 new jobs just for us having that bit of knowledge. Now, if we took that same mentality and that same philosophy and multiplied it times 1,000 companies and 1,000 products across the state, imagine what we could do to our economy.
Sure.
Just by, again, just a little bit of education.
Yeah.
So 4 years ago, we went to, somebody said, you need to help get some more publicity and awareness of what's going on. Actually, it's 5 years ago. And they said, you need to get a proclamation. Honestly, I didn't even know. I didn't understand the whole proclamation thing. And they said, you need one? I'm like, okay, well, I'll go get one. And we went through the whole process. And Governor Deal presented to me and our leadership team a proclamation declaring July as Buy From Georgia Month, which was really cool. It was like
very cool.
to raise awareness of the things that were made. So we tried a couple different things. One year we did a little video campaign. One year we did a photo campaign. We tried to do some stuff. And our business was kind of divided into two sections. One was the business-to-business association that helps the manufacturers. And then the other was this kind of Buy From Georgia thing that we were trying to do. And somebody came up with a genius idea and shared it with me. They said, why don't you do what you do year-round, but just open it up to consumers? I thought, well, heck, why not? So what we did was, yesterday was our last day of Buy From Georgia Month in 2018. We did 16 plant tours across the state.
That's a lot. That's a few.
Yeah, that's a ton. That's a ton. It was a little bigger of a challenge than I thought, but we focused on consumer-based products that you could go buy at Home Depot, Walmart, or have access to. Club Car was one of the tours. You can't buy one of those at Walmart yet or Home Depot, but it was a Georgia-based consumer product. So we did those 16 plant tours. We opened it up to general consumers. We had over 500 people attend 16 events in the worst tour month of the year. I mean, people are on vacation, they're out of school. I mean, typically, a lot of industry associations shut down July, August, and September, you know, because time is kind of tough.
Sure.
But we blew it out. I mean, over 16 events, over 500 folks attended.
That's awesome.
And helped them become loyal customers and raving fans of these products. Okabashi brand flip-flops. They make them up in Beaufort, Georgia. They make 10,000 pair of shoes a day.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And Okabashi doesn't sound like a Georgia brand, but when you go look at Okabashi,
kind of doesn't. Yeah.
Right. But you see the families that it impacts in Duracell and Han Furniture.
Yeah.
And a variety of different companies like that. So we've been telling, you know, you probably have guessed that I've told that Duracell story more than once.
Maybe
right?
once or
Maybe
twice,
once
yeah.
or twice. That's a good thing that all of us can relate to, because all of us have used batteries, and all of us
Absolutely,
understand
yeah.
that if we help support companies, we can help grow jobs.
Yeah.
But up till now, we hadn't really had a way to quantify the success of the movement. And somebody told me the other day, without data, you're just another guy with an opinion, right? Right?
Data is important
Data
these
is very
days.
important.
Yeah.
And we had thought about creating a store. We actually looked at the square on Lawrenceville, and we were going to make this Buy from Georgia store and get all these products and stock them in there. And it would be kind of a novelty. People would come in to learn what's made there. But then we would be in price competition with Walmart. And I
Right,
think they
yeah.
could probably get their batteries a little cheaper than Jason and his team could.
Probably a
If
little
I
bit,
was, you know, buying 10 at the time to a tractor trailer load or, you know, train load. So we decided that we looked at that probably not a great business model, but we saw that the trends, people are going online. As you know, online e-commerce is a big deal. You know, our buddies at Amazon is pretty neat deal. So what we did was we put together a website. And the website is buyfromgeorgia.com, right? Because, again, Buy from Georgia month, it
Right.
makes sense. It
Totally makes sense.
carries all the way through. And so we put this website together. Did you know that there are 460 million products that the U.S. consumer can buy on Amazon today?
I did not know that. 460 million.
460 million.
Wow,
That blows my mind.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And if you want to support local jobs in Georgia, there's no way to filter them for what's made in here until now. So what we've done is we hadn't got every product that's manufactured in Georgia, but we got a good start.
Yeah.
If you know of companies that manufacture products in Georgia that are available on Amazon that we don't have on there yet, we'll list them on the page for free. There's no cost.
This is awesome. Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
So any ideas, any concept, we're looking to the business community to help us find products that are made in Georgia that we can promote. So I kind of, you know, I've taken a step back.
Yeah.
If you look at it, Buy from Georgia and the Buy from Georgia website, that gives us an opportunity to quantify how successful we are as an organization in getting this message out.
Absolutely.
Because up till now, Duracell said, well, you know, when I talked to them, I'm like, well, we've been telling this story. Let me tell you the story. And then I tell them the story, and they're like, that's a great story.
Yeah.
And I've been telling it for several years.
Right.
And they're like, well, keep telling it. But now with Buy from Georgia, because, again, it's an Amazon-based site.
Yeah.
Now, we don't get involved in the transaction at any level. All we do is we list, you know,
Here are the
food and beverage products
Right,
and clothing products
Right.
and home and garden products. Click on here, and it takes you to a list of even automotive products, Kumho tires. So you can click in there, and you can order Kumho tires. It takes you out of the Buy from Georgia page and takes you right to your Amazon site.
There you go. Yeah.
Everybody's already familiar. They already, because I don't want anybody like, well, you know, is Jason going to, you know, wrap up my tires and mail them to me? That's not my deal. I don't want to do that. What it does, it takes you to the Kumho tire website or the Kumho tire Amazon shopping site. So all we're doing is we're just identifying the products and letting you link directly to those.
Yeah.
Now, but the cool part is we're able to see. Now, I can't see that Danny went and bought a pack of Duracell batteries, but I can see that a pack of Duracell batteries have been sold.
Yeah. And you
then,
can see all the web traffic, and you can see all the,
bingo. And then we got the analytics, and then we can really go back to Duracell and say, hey, look, we helped you sell 40,000 batteries last month.
Yeah.
Right? People want to buy local.
That's awesome.
Right. So that was the mindset behind the Buy from Georgia. And if you, again, take another step back, and if you look at it as a marketing tool, manufacturers want to sell more stuff.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And the internet's here to stay.
Yeah.
Amazon's booming, e-commerce is the big thing.
Yeah.
We're trying to leverage all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, if you want to look at it that way, is kind of like the Got Milk campaign for the state of Georgia and for Georgia manufacturers. Because every time you make a purchase on this website, you're helping support and grow Georgia jobs.
So real quick, the Got Milk thing, because I wasn't super familiar with the background on it. Just give a quick recap. What the story on that?
So the Got Milk campaign, what happened was the dairy producers in California were taking a hit. I mean, people were changing. They were changing the things that they were drinking. They were getting away from sodas. They were getting away from milk, drinking lots of water and fruits and all sorts of stuff. And they said, we need to do something. So the dairy producers, the Dairy Association, got together in California and said, if you guys will give us a nickel for every gallon of milk you produce, we'll get some celebrities to talk about milk and the importance of buying milk. And there was a variety of things. Everybody pitched in a little bit.
Yeah.
They got these celebrities. They got the program going. and they just blew it up. Now it's global. I mean, Got Milk, everybody understands Got Milk.
Yeah.
And I believe that with the right connections and the right people getting behind this, everybody's going to know buy from Georgia because it's the same. I mean, this is the Got Milk campaign for all manufacturers in the state of Georgia because we don't charge anybody anything for putting stuff on the website.
Yeah.
If you've got a product or know of a product that's made in Georgia, available on Amazon, throw us a link to the page. We'll put it up on the site and everybody wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people want to buy local. They want to support their local businesses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's such a great story, and it's a great solution. I love the whole digital marketing play on it, e-commerce, all that. And I think it's a really great way of helping to solve that challenge and really provide support and help to answer that number one challenge that they talk about, in the survey. So that's awesome.
And we want people to like and share and communicate this message because this is a grassroots movement. We don't have a big marketing budget. We didn't get a nickel for every gallon, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is our contribution, our give back to the community. So we need all the help that we can get getting that message out because it's a worthy message to share, and everybody wins.
Well, we'll make sure that we've got links to all this in the show notes if you're listening on iTunes or, obviously on the website. We'll have all that there. So the last thing I want to do is, as time is going here, I want to touch on just real quick, we've got a really cool event coming up in October. And so, for those who are, again, in Georgia, I know we're focusing on Georgia. This is our hometown in case, if you haven't been listening for a while, don't know we're from Atlanta. But this great organization that we're in charge, and they've got the upcoming Georgia Manufacturing Summit, which will be, October 10th, 2018, Cobb Galleria. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've got going on there? And, I'll just tell you right now, if you're thinking about it, you totally need to come. We're going to be there, you guys. But tell me about this. You've got some awesome people coming.
Perfect. Yeah. So the Georgia Manufacturing Summit, we saw that there was a need for manufacturers to get together once a year and hear what's going on in the industry and learn trends to track, things that they need to be looking for, and to share successes. So each year we focus on an industry for our keynotes, but every manufacturer in the state will benefit from attending this event because we've got 7 different educational sessions that we'll be doing throughout the day. And then we focus our keynotes on a specific industry. The first year, we did it on transportation, and we had the CEO of Bluebird Bus and Kia were our 2 keynotes. The next year, we did it around construction-related products because the economy was turning. We knew that construction was coming back up. And we had top executives from both Southwire, that makes wire and cable, and Beaulieu Carpet, the number 2 manufacturer of carpet in the world, right here in Georgia. So I had those 2 guys come in and talk about carpet, or talk about the trends that were coming and how they as manufacturers were preparing for the new surge in construction. And then last year we did our keynotes were around food and beverage.
Okay, excellent.
You think about food and beverage, what do you think about in Georgia, right? Coca-Cola.
Just a little bit.
Right. So we had one of the top executives from Coca-Cola, and one just a little bit further out that you might not connect to manufacturing was Chick-fil-A. So we had the global purchasing director from Chick-fil-A, Rob Degas, come in and talk about how they, although manufacturing is not something you normally think about, they as a consumer, I mean, you never need 10,000 straws at one time in a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Ever, right? So he talked about the supply chain and how they were working with their manufacturers to be able to be more effective in the supply chain and getting the products in and out when they needed to. This year, we're doing it around the aerospace industry.
And I'm a little excited about that.
The aerospace industry. It was kind of surprising to me because a lot of our sponsors now, our sponsors and our members, they're like, well, we're not aerospace. We don't.
Yeah.
And if you're in business in the state of Georgia, at some level you are connected to airspace. As crazy as that sounds, you might have to do a little research to figure it out.
There's a lot going on here.
But there's a ton in aerospace. There's a company that manufactures agricultural aviation. Some people call them crop dusters, right? So top guys in this, and there's 2 top 2 companies in the country. One of them's right here in Georgia, Thrush Aerospace or Thrush Aviation down in Albany. They manufacture crop dusters, and they do 1 a week. It's really cool. They roll in steel tube. The only thing that they don't make is the avionics and the tires. Everything else they make on site. It is amazing. But they produce a plane a week out of Thrush.
Wow.
And so we're going to be so Eric Rojak is going to be there. He's the VP of Sales and he does a lot of international work as well. About 70% of their business goes out of country, which is really
Wow.
neat. Yeah,
70. Okay.
70,
Wow.
yeah, because we have a pretty good saturation of. If
Sure.
you need
Yeah.
you need a crop duster, we got them here, but
Yeah.
other developing countries need that.
Absolutely, that
to
totally
be-
makes sense.
yeah. And then the other one we're really excited about is we're going to have Mark Burns, is the president of Gulfstream. And I'm really excited about having Mark Burns to come in and talk not only the impact of manufacturing is having, but to tell his story. And as I mentioned, back in many years ago, I was in the design world, and I was a CAD drafter.
Okay, all right.
Mark Burns was a CAD draftsman at Gulfstream, and now he's the president. So hopefully we'll be able to get him to tell a little bit of his story about not only the manufacturing industry, but the opportunities for growth so that people can really get, they got 12,000 employees, one of the largest manufacturers in the state, and the guy that's running it started out as a draftsman on the line.
That's awesome.
And so being able to share that kind of story and give people the inspiration and the opportunities to be able to learn about manufacturing. And again, we're going to do trainings on supply chain, trends to track in the supply chain. We're going to talk about on the finance side, things that you need to look at, both the new taxes and tariffs, and then we've got an international section that we're going to do, and then we're going to do one on workforce development. So those are the four main that GMA is going to produce, and then a company called Southwire, one of our partners, is sponsoring the technology session. And so they're going to do 2 sessions in the morning and 2 sessions in the afternoon. We're going to talk about blockchain, and we're going to talk about a variety of different technologies that are impacting manufacturers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it's going to be a full day.
That's awesome.
It's the tickets are very reasonable. It's $100 a person to attend. That covers breakfast, lunch, all educational sessions, and some networking. I promise you can't get anywhere else on the planet.
Yeah.
So we're excited about it, and we're glad that you guys are going to be involved with us this year as well.
Absolutely.
And October 10th, Cobb Galleria. The registration is GeorgiaManufacturingSummit.com. It's all on the website, and you can just register online. We are going to shut registration down about 4 days before the event.
Okay, good to know.
But so don't wait till the last minute to register because you might not be able to. and there's good possibility that we could sell the room out. So based on the feedback and the trend so far, we have way outpaced last year's registration.
Awesome. Yeah.
So
that's a good sign.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be getting the fire marshal coming in there shutting us down.
Right. So that's awesome. All right. So those links, if you're listening on iTunes, we'll have those in the show notes. We'll also have it on the website, so you can go register. Georgia Manufacturing Summit, October 10th, 2018, Cobb Galleria here in Atlanta. Definitely want to come check this out. Here, Mark Burns and Eric Rojak from Thrush Aviation, and obviously Gulfstream. So I did that in reverse order, but that sounds awesome. So Jason, I really appreciate the time and you coming on Industrial Sage. If anybody has any questions, I'd love to learn more about the GMA or would like to reach out, what's the best way of contacting
Yeah, the best way to get a hold to me is through email, jason@georgiamanufacturing.com. And our website is georgiamanufacturingalliance.com.
Perfect.
The Georgia Manufacturing Alliance will get you to our directory and our upcoming schedule. And we want to encourage folks to come out and join us in the manufacturing space. And on the consumer side, buyfromgeorgia.com.
Perfect.
Again, that's one of the big pieces that we're working to raise more awareness to help manufacturers. And it's been another great day at GMA, so that's what we're always out to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Jason.
All right. Thanks, Danny.
All right, so another great episode with Industrial Sage with Jason Moss here of the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance. Apologies to those who may not be from Georgia. We're talking about all the amazing things here. If you haven't been listening in a while, we're from Atlanta. But GMA has got it going on. If you are here in Georgia, or even in the local area, you need to check it out. Check out the association. I highly recommend, if you're a manufacturer, to come check it out and become members. We're members. We've gone to several tours, several events. I mentioned we're going to the summit that's coming up October 10th. It's coming up in 4 months, very quickly. It's a fantastic summit to go. It'll be our first one. I've heard from many people who have gone in the past. Check it out. Also, on the consumer side, buyfromgeorgia.com is a really great way, really great story on really the GMA's answer to helping have those, to solve the challenge of that number one challenge of sales that the survey they've gone out with, that's what they're hearing from manufacturers. And you know what? That's probably the same challenge that a lot of other manufacturers are going through within the rest of the country and honestly throughout the rest of the world. So if you like this episode, we'd love you to share it, like it. We'd love to get a rating if you're listening to it on iTunes. Any of this information, we've got contact information and all the links to all the events and all the different things we touched on will be in the show notes. I'm Danny Gonzalez, and thanks for listening or watching Industrial Sage. Do you have a solid digital marketing content plan? Or do you have questions around that? Well, listen, we've got a really great, free, awesome tool for you. It's our Digital Marketing Content Planner. It's a download that is a very comprehensive plan on how to take all of your digital marketing content, look at your personas, look at your calls to action, look at your strategy, and take everything that you have on your whiteboard or maybe in your head and really crystallize it and put it together in a very actionable format. So if you're interested in this, you can go to industrialsage.com/digital-content-planner, and you get access to this free tool, and we'll even send you a 10-minute free guide on how to walk through and set it up.